Welcome back to another DLC. It is another one, 2 days in a row, just me here. This episode is in lieu of a Two Blokes from Blighty. No reason for it. I was away last week. Tim was away this weekend. Just couldn't find the time to record with each other. So I thought I would bring you a DLC for a game that I'm really excited to have played early. And something different about the review copy we have of Death Howl, which I should say, full disclaimer, we were gifted a review copy by 11-Bit Studios and by our friends at Game Press. The developer of this game, The Outer Zone, was really friendly and kind with regards to the review copy, and they wanted us to inform you that if you have Steam, you can play Death Howl right now. The demo is out. It's a really long demo. You get most of the game with that demo. So if you like what you hear, check out Death Howl, stick it on your wish list, and tell them that the Game Club Pod sent you if that's what you want to do. So Death Howl it's a very interesting game, and the art style stands out immediately. It's a very simplistic pixel art style, but not simplistic in a way that seems minimalist, because the pixel art in this is grandiose. There is Lovecraftian style enemies which are really detailed, but whilst exploring the open world, you are a very small character on quite a big screen with a lot of scene to play with, but that scene is presented to you in a much more stripped back fashion. If you saw images of Death Howl, you'd have no doubt it is Death Howl that you're looking at. The thing that caught my attention with Death Howl wasn't the name, it wasn't the art style, whilst it is very impressive. It was the genre that is on the cover of the game. Because I've never heard of this kind of genre mashup before. If you go to Death Howl's Steam page, you'll see the title Death Howl, and then the subtitle, A Souls-like Deck Builder. Now, I've put 4.5 hours into Death Howl. I'll definitely put more. Spoiler warning for the end of the review. It is a very, very good game. But I've played a few deck builders in my time. I've played a few Souls-like in my time. I've played Souls-like for these DLCs. And it's no secret that I love Souls-like games. When I saw the Souls-like genre on the front cover of the game, I really questioned it, and I think it took me a very long time and a little bit of reflection to say, yeah, actually, fair enough, it is a Souls-like deck builder. I think where I was going wrong in my assumption of this is that Souls-likes are challenging combat with a stamina bar, and you have bonfires-like areas where you can replenish your health and reset the enemies in the world. Well, Death Howl has two of these three things. It has challenging enemies, it's got areas that are like a bonfire, it's got Lovecraftian style mammoth bosses, it's got repeated character death, it's got environmental storytelling, it's set in a bleak and death-ridden world. It's got a currency similar to Souls by defeating the enemies. I think, upon reflection, this has taken the Souls-like title and been really clever about how it applied it. Even when I was starting to make notes on this review, I was ready to come in and go, as a deck builder, it's brilliant. As a Souls-like, I don't agree. But actually, thinking about it, I do. What I wouldn't want people to do is to go into this game and think that, yeah, it's a deck builder game, but the Game Club Pod said it's a Souls-like and I don't agree. And I'm going to explain that a little bit as I go throughout the story. So you play Death Howl as a mother who has recently gone through a sacrificial ritual in order to reach the spirit world. And the reason that you've done this is you are looking to track down the soul of your recently deceased son. And the desperation that the mother feels throughout this whole game is, well, it comes across really strong. There isn't dialogue within Death Howl, but there is cutscenes. I say cutscenes very lightly. They are more images that move slightly, done in the pixel art style, and they have subtitles underneath them. One of the most impressive ones right at the start was showing the mother's sacrifice of herself in this ritual, and as she's traveling over to the spirit realm, she's saying, I will not let death take you away, I will find you, you will not be alone, etc., etc. And I think this this desperation from the mother that you play as throughout the whole game really carries the narrative very, very well. Whenever you come into combat, this is where the deck builder element comes into play. Combat takes place on a grid system. You have a set number of action points where you can either move or complete an action from one of the cards in your deck. As you are fighting using the cards in your deck against the enemies or the animals or the bosses, you have actions, so you have 5 actions per turn. So you can use 2 of them, for example, to move, and then a 3 action attack card, or you could use all 5 of your action points in order to get a better vantage point on your enemy for your next move. Each enemy that you come across has a unique set of attacks. For example, the crows that you come across a lot in the start of the game will attack you from 2 squares away. The warthogs, which are plentiful near the start of the game, can attack you from up to 3 blocks away, but they can only attack you in straight lines. So if you were to use your action points cleverly, you would attack them and then move to a diagonal plane from that warthog, so they can't then attack you on the next move. You use the currency that I mentioned throughout the game in order to upgrade and acquire new cards, and therefore new things to spend your action points on within battle. So I spent a lot of mine in the early game getting more ranged attacks, because I found that the smaller enemies that you were coming across all the time often needed to be quite close to you in order to attack. You have a number of things you can do with these cards. There can be attacks, there can be things to bolster your defense, there can be things for you to move even further than you were originally able to using your action points. And I just think it ties together in a really nice way. That means that each time you play Death Howl and each battle that you go into will be totally unique. I mentioned a bonfire system, and they have this with the ancient stones scattered throughout the map. You can find ancient stones that you just need to go into and activate, and it will replenish your health, and it will replenish all of the enemies in the area. What I'd say about Death Howl is, if you have a PC and you're interested in deck builders or Souls-like, give it a go. It's out in the demo at the moment, and it runs really, really well. I think you'd be really surprised at the really intelligent use of the pixel art style. The really captivating use of the deck builder mechanics that they have. I also don't even mind the crafting elements and resource gathering that lead to your card creation, because it's done in a way that doesn't feel like you are absolutely reliant on it throughout the game. The development team, The Outer Zone, has done a really good job in making the player feel isolated and desperate throughout their playthrough of Death Howl. I think they really care about the player experience of this, to the point of when you try to close the demo, you're met with a request for a survey. And it's not just a bog standard rate your experience out of 5. There are some really big questions in there. How did you find the combat? Were our tutorials... did they explain the situation well enough? Did you feel that the combat was too easy, too challenging? And it really felt like your feedback would go into Death Howl to make a really, really good finished product. Once again, I think if I was to give Death Howl a rating out of 10, it's really hard to say for a demo, because you never know what the final copy is going to be like. A little bit less than you would for a review copy. But if it comes out better than the demo that's out now, I think you're looking at an 8 out of 10 game. Could even push it to a 9. I really, really, really recommend this. and I really think that it's a really good introduction to both Souls-like and deck builder games, because it's not as punishing as a Dark Souls, a Black Myth Wukong, or Lies of P, but it also holds your hand quite well throughout the opening stages of the deck builder, so you're not thrown into it in the same level as you would be for Inscription or Slay the Spire. I think that there's a lot here for a lot of players, and it's something that I would hate to see people miss out on. So as I said, head over to the demo on Steam, pick it up, let us know what you think, and thanks again for stopping by and supporting the DLC. If you have any feedback on our DLC episodes, we really appreciate it. Pop any feedback you have in the Discord, and we look forward to making more of these for you as we go. Have a great day.